Hello, good afternoon to everybody. Afternoon from this time frame in Europe, where I am talking. Some in other areas. So good evening to those being more east, and good morning for those being in the western part of the globe now. My name is Oscar Centeno. Some of you already know me, even personally, or we have probably crossed in one of the meetings that we have been attending together with you several times, many of you are in Europe. Today, this is the third session where we will be presenting this building stream on a solid AIM foundation. I hope that you will enjoy it. As you more or less know already, it will last 1 hour. And here together with me, my colleague Henry Cáceres will be in charge of doing this presentation with your GroupEAD team. In this webinar, we will learn, and you will be learning, what is SWIM and where is the idea coming from. Why AIM is considered the foundation of SWIM. How an organization can successfully build up a solid AIM service. At this point, I would like, and we will like GroupEAD, just to thank all those who are contributing to make this aviation world possible in these hard days. It's true that we are facing now, well, since some weeks already, a very strange and difficult situation that probably nobody really imagined some months ago. But we are going through it, and all together we will do it. In this case, we are meeting through the web. We can see each other through this web. We are very used to see us in person, and this is what I like. But in the meantime, let's still keep on meeting ourselves through the means possible. The webinar recommendations today for you, it will be the following. Just to inform you, the conference is being recorded because in this, like this, we can send it to you after, and you can always have all this document in the presentation. We will ask you to mute your microphones, and if you, but this is up to you. This is only a recommendation. The microphones, they will be muted if you don't mute it normally, because sometimes we can hear some sounds in the background because we are many, and that might happen. If you don't stop your video, no problem. I still see your faces. I see some of you already, and it is very nice. We will have some time dedicated for questions at the end of the presentation, so please keep them for the end. We'll have not a lot of time for direct and leave questions here, but as well we will make available for you if you have other questions, send them by email. At this given point, I would like to introduce you the speaker, the person who will be mainly performing this presentation today, which is my colleague Henry Cáceres. I'm sure you already know him quite well, many of you. If not, I will mention that he has a degree in engineering, and he has a master in airports management. He has been involved in the AAS and AIM since already more than 19 years. He is one of our instructors. He's very involved in the training department. Create training material and do whatever is with the training department. Also, he's very involved in the EAD operations because he has been directly working in operations as an operator, as a supervisor, and is still involved in that. So he knows very well the operations we normally do in GroupEAD. He also participates in the consultancy He supports air navigation service providers or any other kind of clients that we normally have in GroupEAD. And as well, he participates in different forums, ICAO, IFIMA, and other meetings, World ATM, and etc. I think that we will be able to see Henry now as well in the camera. Hello, Henry. Nice to see you.
Can you see me now?
I can see you.
Okay, thank you very much, Oscar. Thank you for the presentation. I would also like to thank everybody who is participating, who is taking some time for participating in this event. And it's wonderful to work with colleagues like Oscar. And I would also like to introduce our host, and Mr. Oscar Centeno. It's our training deputy officer. Oscar has a degree in law and also in a master in airport management. He has worked in airport operations in AENA for more than 20 years, and he actually started working in a place fantastic. It's a paradise in Spain called Ibiza. Oscar, you see him, he's young, but he has a lot of experience, more than 20 years of experience. He's also a training expert. He has developed and delivered a lot of training all over the world in areas related to AIM, and even in several languages, including Spanish, Portuguese, and French. Oscar also joined GroupEAD since the very beginning, back in 2003, and he's also an expert in EAD operations. He also worked very close with ICAO in a specific project in Nairobi, in Kenya, in a project related to training as well. And he is also very active, participating in different meetings and forums like IATA, ICAO, Eurocontrol, etc., all over the world, and especially focused on the Africa region.
Thank you very much. It's a very nice way to introduce me. So we will start very soon now the content of this presentation. But before going straight to the point, I would like to mention that at the very end of this presentation and webinar, we will talk to you about a very small special gift that we will be offering. So stay until the end, and then you will discover what is it there. So ready? You can take a notebook, a pen, maybe a coffee, maybe a tea, or whatever is close by, and then we can start.
Thank you, Oscar. All right, let's start with this webinar today. If you see there the picture and the screen, I don't know how many of you have played this funny game. I actually used to play it for hours with my brothers when we were kids, in family weekends. This is the famous Jenga game, a game where the basis, where the foundation, it's very important in order not to ruin the whole structure and lose the game. And here we come with this important question. How important is a solid foundation? Of course, this is kind of obvious for all of you. If we think about it, this is important. It's a reality in every aspect in our personal or professional lives. A solid ground, a good foundation is crucial for each task or project we have to perform. Or work can fall into ruins if there is no stable foundation to base it on. This same principle, which is known by every architect and even mentioned in the Bible, it is also essential for the implementation of the intranet of ATM, known as SWIM, which is the main subject that we will be talking today in this webinar. But before going into details about SWIM, let's interact a little bit, and we would like you to answer some questions that we have prepared for you. So I will put here in the screen some questions, but soon you will see in the right-hand side some questions where you can also support us and interact together with us. Give me 1 second, and you will soon see them in your right-hand side of the screen. All right, there we go. So there are 3 questions. Note that we only have 1.5 minutes for answering them. We have these 3 questions. If you have ever played this game, the Jenga game that I mentioned in the first slide. We would also like to know which industry you are representing right now in this event. And also a very important question, which is in close relation to the webinar, and that is, how important do you think that AIM is in SWIM? Without even yet introducing all these concepts, but we would like to know from you if you have an idea on what is that. So thanks a lot. I see good progress that you're filling in. Remember to answer all the questions and then hit the submit button. Maybe you need to do it twice for confirmation. We still have 30 seconds. So thanks a lot for your support answering these questions. Later, right after this, we will see the results. We still have 15 seconds. Keep in mind that there are 3 questions.
I already sent them, Henry.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Good. So here we are. And soon you will see also the results there at the right-hand side of your screen.
Yep. There, in many cases, I see that most of you know already the game that Henry has referenced. Also, the majority of you come from air navigation service provider, civil and military authorities today. And also the majority, the big majority of you, you think that AIM in SWIM is very important, since AIM is the foundation of SWIM. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. So let's continue then with our webinar. So yeah, this webinar is about SWIM, and as Oscar introduced, it's one of our objectives to know what is SWIM and where is this interesting idea coming from. You know, when we talk about SWIM, many technologies and concepts might come to our heads, from service-oriented architecture to GML, to web feature services, XML, network protocols, or databases. And all these aspects indeed are important, but not more than the real subject, which is to be transmitted in this SWIM, in this, which is nothing else than a network. And this thing that will actually be transmitted is actually the information. So this is our starting point, the information. And those of you who are working or have worked in an aeronautical information service know very well what I'm talking about, because this is actually our work. So let's see what is SWIM. In order to understand SWIM, we need to first understand what is not SWIM. Yeah. In other words, what is the current reality for most organizations all over the world. We all know that today, today's ATM, we have different domains of information or types of information. We have airport information, we have meteorological information, ATC, airline, and so on, so on. This information is actually originated from specific and authorized units in our organization, environment, or countries. And this information is exchanged to different users who may also happen to be sometimes originators of a different type of information. As we can see there in the screen, there is a big interaction among all the different data providers. And finally, what we see here, it's that they are all exchanging information, and the final user is actually the pilot in the plane. So all these different domains are exchanging information in a very inefficient point-to-point network. This network is also characterized by having its own communication and specific domain communication protocols or self-contained information systems. And each of these domains also are having their own and custom designed interfaces. So with this, it's very difficult that they can interact each other. It's like everybody is speaking different languages, and it's and everybody else needs to understand and learn the different type of languages being communicated by all the different actors. And this picture, which seems to have worked so far, it's not really good when we see a little bit further in the future, because in the future, we're looking forward for more secure, for more efficient, for compatible and harmonized integrated data sharing environment. Okay, so let's see then what might be SWIM, or what is SWIM, what actually needs to change in this information environment in order to improve the situation. SWIM actually stands for System-Wide Information Management. And what we see here in the picture, there is a big improvement, because what we have now, it's a pool of information, a centralized information where all the different actors are actually sharing their information, and finally this information can also go to the pilot in the plane. If you see, all the different data are going back and forth, yeah? So even for the pilot, we'll see what happens this, because at the moment, this is a picture that we haven't seen before, meaning that the pilot is not only receiving information, but also providing information. I mean, the aircraft or the pilot in the plane. So what we see now is not anymore a point-to-point, but instead a centric exchange network. Yeah, just like the internet we know nowadays. And then what we can also mention here is that in SWIM, the standards for communications with the protocols are not independent anymore, but they are harmonized and they are also standardized. And there is also a common, agreed and understood global operational concept in terms of all the benefits for the aviation community in general all over the world, all the different enablers, features and principles for development and transition. You know, the expected increase in aviation demands, there are economic pressures and attention to the environment as well, and they rely even more on accurate and timely information. And SWIM will actually assure that the information solution supports wide interoperability and secure seamless information access and exchange. The most important benefits of implementing SWIM, besides digitalization and standardization of the information, of course, is the common situational awareness and a strong collaborative environment for flight and flow collaboration. So many of you perhaps are familiar with the ASBU methodology by ICAO in the Global Air Navigation Plan. This ASBU, which stands for Aviation System Block Upgrades, it's the defined strategy by ICAO for obtaining or for going to this goal, which is the Global Air Navigation Plan. And we can also recognize that SWIM is part of these ASBU components, and also another component that we're going to introduce right now, which is the DAIM. What is this DAIM? It's actually the digital AIM. In our presentation, we will refer to AIM simply, but please be aware that we are referring to the same concept as explained in ASBU, or as stated in ASBU, as digital AIM. So what we have in ASBU? ASBU, it's actually a set of different groups, a set of different thread groups, which is nothing else than improvement areas in aviation for the Global Air Navigation Plan. These thread groups, or these areas of improvement, can actually be categorized in three: operational improvements, information improvements, and technology improvements. We will focus on the information threads, or the information improvements, because here we can find individual improvements like AMET, the AIM, FICE, and SWIM. So if you see, AMET refers to meteorological information, the AIM refers, of course, to aeronautical information in digital form. FICE stands for flight information in a collaborative environment. And then we also have SWIM, which is our subject of study this day. So what we can see and where we will focus, it's actually in these two, in digital AIM and in SWIM, which are essential components in ASBU. So what else we can find in ASBU? ASBU defines also some blocks. These blocks, which goes from 0 to 4, are nothing else than 6 years time frames, where many objectives or elements, as you can see there, are supposed to be reached. This is the goal, this is the objective. So if we see the picture, it's very easy also to identify that in this information thread, there are three different types of information that will be around, that will be, let's say, the most important types of information. Those are the meteorological, the aeronautical, and the flight and flow. And we are now in 2020, yeah, meaning that we are at the beginning of block 2. And in this time, several objectives must have been met already as part of block 1, and some others as part of block 2 should be already started or in the process of start. So let's see now some of these objectives for digital AIM and also for SWIM. And let's see what is the current status. Let's see if we're going in the right direction. So let's start now for SWIM. What is what we expect in SWIM in block 2? You know, SWIM is a new way for managing and exchanging information. It replaces the current ground-to-ground, point-to-point information exchange by an aviation intranet relying on internet technologies instead of point-to-point. This will enable information services to be provided to the ATM community. In order to facilitate the exchange, publish, subscribe, or request replied mechanisms must also be available. This refers to the fact that users might be able to subscribe to regular data service provision, like every AIXM, for example. And also, in addition, the aircraft is not anymore a passive consumer of information, but also considered a node in air-to-ground exchange of information of non-safety critical information, like, for instance, the trajectory, meteorological information, flight and flow, etc. So it's interesting to see here in this SWIM context how the aircraft, it's also becoming very important and very active here in the provision of information. So let's have a look at what we should have now in block 2 for DAIM or AIM in a simplified term. At this stage, what we expect to see, it's actually a fully digital exchange as a standard using service-oriented architecture. What does this mean, fully digital exchange as standard? It means that we need to abandon the paper. Yeah, it means that all the provisions of AIP in paper version all over the world, they are not conceived anymore in the digital AIM as part of ASBU, but instead, what we need to have is a fully digital exchange of aeronautical information. We should also have a big improvement in data positions and time accuracy, like, for instance, the implementation of geographical information services. In additionally to the traditional information, we need also to support high airspace concepts or drones or unmanned aircraft service traffic management concepts. We should also have a rich dynamic obstacle database and automated dynamic georeference restrictions available. Yeah, so it seems very challenging for the next 5 years in terms of SWIM and digital AIM. But this is what we have in ICAO. This is our reality. And the question now is, where are we now? Are we taking the right steps to succeed in these goals? Or we think that we are not going to be able to meet these objectives on time? SWIM, of course, is very complex, and it is not our intention to discuss here every aspect in this webinar. But some important things from the technical point of view, we can see that SWIM is actually separated or divided in several layers. The first layer, it's actually the network connectivity, which is nothing else than the current physical lines or connections for transmitting the information, such as the internet or exclusive private networks like PENS in Europe. The second layer is the SWIM infrastructure, which is the specific equipment, the databases and systems built with the intention of sharing aeronautical information. The third layer, it's actually information exchange models. And maybe some of you are already familiar with this concept of the exchange model. So we can identify here that there are several exchange models for the different domains that we mentioned before. Like, for instance, AIXM, it's for aeronautical information. FIXM, it's for flight information, and IWXM, it's for meteorological information. We may also have some other exchange models which will be developed in the near future. Then we have the fourth layer, which is the information exchange services, which are all the communication interfaces which are able to transmit the data between the originator or data provider and also the data user. And we, of course, need different domains, yeah, as we mentioned before, AIM, flight data, or meteorological data. And finally, we have the stream-enabled applications, which is the last part where users can really interact with the data with some human-machine interfaces or software forms. Note that here in this layer, we can also see all the different components that we have before in the pool of information as presented in the first slide. But the complexity which is behind, which is below, it's actually hidden in all the different or technical components. According to the stream principles, not all of these layers are part of the stream scope, but only those three which are in the middle. We're talking about infrastructure, exchange model, and exchange services. Well, up to this point, many of you might think that this is kind of complex and very futuristic, and probably ICAO and their ASBU methodology or their ASBU strategy will need to be redefined, because this will take some time to be reached, and not even 4 years that we have ahead of us. But what if I tell you that more than 15 years ago, there was already an implementation which actually served as a proof of concept that this type of information exchange was possible. I'm talking about a stream prototype, which was developed, as I mentioned before, more than 15 years ago, and it was implemented for exchanging aeronautical information. Anybody of you has any idea what is this stream prototype that we are talking about? Stream prototype, which actually is using AIXM, and it's also using the providing a service in the AIM, and which was developed also more than 15 years ago. But before answering to this question, let's summarize this far what we have seen up to now. So up to now, we have seen that AIM and stream are essential components of the ASBU strategy and the ICAO Global Air Navigation Plan. Additionally, that stream is about the implementation of information service technologies, where AIM is only one domain. We mentioned at least 3 domains: aeronautical information, meteorological, and also flight and flow. And we also mentioned that there is already a successful AIM stream prototype. And I asked you this, if you know what is this stream prototype which was successfully implemented. So here we come to the poll question number 2. Would I need your support answering, if you know what is this successful AIM stream prototype, what is your feeling about the implementation of digital AIM in your organization? And also, what are the main problems that you have seen when pursuing this AIM implementation? So give me 1 second, and I will start the other poll here. There we go. We have 1 minute and a half. Remember that we have 3 questions. The first one, you need to type in your answer. If you don't know it, then it's fine. I mean, just simply say, I don't know, or just use your imagination. Yeah. Anyhow, I will come back later with the answer to this question.
Just to point out, in question number 3, more than one option is possible to be checked.
Thank you very much. I see some people already interacting. Thanks a lot for this. We still have some more seconds to go before the poll is closed. Yeah, half a minute, more or less. Have you done already yours, Oscar?
Yes, they are sent.
Okay, thank you. All right, couple of some more seconds. And we're done with these questions. Okay, we're almost ready. There we go. You will see in 1 second the results.
Well, if we have a look in the first, which successful AIM swim prototype do you think we mean? I don't know what you have typed there. I only see my own answer. But Henry probably will mention this in the coming slides. The second question, what is your feeling about your ASBU Digital AIM Block 1 implementation status today? The majority of you, they don't know. And then the second most popular answer is that you think that the between 26 and 50%, they have started already. Following the questions, what are the main problems when pursuing AIM implementation? There is, I think, in majority, a big part think that resources and budgetary constraints. Some other also quite popular is more training and awareness. And then regional cooperation approach, but I should say that I mark this also too. And I think it's also very important. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you, Oscar. All right, so coming back to this question, which is this successful AIM stream prototype which was implemented more than 15 years ago. So let me introduce you to the EAD. I don't know how many of you were right and thought that EAD was actually the AIM stream prototype. It is considered by many the first implementation of stream. Note that EAD was implemented back in 2003, even before ICAO had this idea of AIM and stream. So that's why we consider EAD as a pioneer in all these new concepts. So let's see a little bit more about EAD. And let me tell you a story. So once upon a time in aeronautical information, we had the data provider, meaning the AIS provider of every country, and this provider is taking care very nicely for the NOTAMs and for the AIPs. These are very important products. One is in paper, and another one is AFTN messages. But this data provider is not alone, and he has a lot of colleagues all over the world, and they are happily exchanging this information, these products all over the world, because they are happy to receive this information. They need it for different purposes. But these data providers, are also exchanging information among everybody, and it creates this fantastic flow of information all over the world. But these data providers can also make somebody else even happier than them, and that is the data user. Since they can provide their information, and the final data user will be connected or will be subscribed to all these different services, and they will be able to use actually this information for the creation of their PAB manuals and so on. Doesn't this picture look familiar? Isn't this very similar to what we had or what we saw in the first slide about what is not stream, meaning that we have a point-to-point exchange of products which are not compatible among themselves, paper and AFTN, and where the final user is actually needs to subscribe to different data providers? Well, that all changed back in 2003 when in Europe it was implemented for the first time an aeronautical database with an exclusive data model for data exchange. This was the first implementation of AIXM model in the world. Therefore, that was the beginning of something which has changed the aeronautical information industry. The picture now will show a little bit different and with a lot of improvement, where we can see all the different data providers sending the information to a single and centralized database, and also the data users. The data user only needs to subscribe to a single and centralized information. EAD was actually the answer and the proof of concept that the digital data exchange in the AIS world was possible. More than 15 years have passed, 17 actually, and we have now more than 40 different countries as data providers and hundreds of users exchanging data and truly leading the aeronautical information data management. If you're familiar with the concept of the transition from AIS to AIM, you will note that it summarizes actually in the change from paper products to data products. And when many countries all over the world are looking for and getting prepared for these new concepts for AIM, for changing from paper to data, for EAD, this digital exchange is actually a reality since 2003. So we can even represent the timeline on how things have developed over the last years in aeronautical information, where we can assure that we have moved from EAD to AIS to AIM, then to AIM, and then finally to STREAM. In 2003, it was the year when we had the first implementation of AIXM in Europe in the EAD. In 2006, the AIS community celebrated the first global congress where everybody was exposed to these new concepts and system in Europe, and with this a change of paradigm for information provision. In 2009, ICAO created the AIS to AIM study group, and as a result, we had the first roadmap for the transition from AIS to AIM. Later in 2013, ICAO included for the first time the concept of ASBU on these airspace aviation block upgrades, and also including STREAM as one or important component. And 7 years later, we are now in block 2 of ASBU, where the concept of STREAM by ICAO is nothing else than the combination of the 3 most important domains of information in the aeronautical world. We're talking about AIM, we're talking about meteorological information, and also the flight and flow. So we can see AIM as the solid foundation for STREAM because it was the first one which was further developed. Yeah? And coming back to our Jenga game, we can see STREAM as a solid structure having as its foundation AIM. Not only because it was the proof of concept for STREAM, but also because the important nature of the information provided in AIM. What is this type of information that we provide there? In AIM, we find the definition of all the different aeronautical features, from airport to runways to routes, etc. And we can also manage both static and dynamic data here, including also the event concept and temporality. And it also follows an update mechanism like the IRAC amendments that you are more familiar with most probably. So we know that AIM is the solid foundation for STREAM, but let's see how to put the blocks together for a solid AIM. So now that we know that AIM is the solid foundation for STREAM, what are these building blocks that makes AIM solid? Let's see the first one. The first one is a service definition. We need to have a clear definition of what are the services and responsibilities of our unit. A good starting point is actually the BBB, or the basic building blocks defined by ICAO in their ASBU or in their Global Air Navigation Plan, where essential services are identified for AIM. For example, NOTAM service, AAP and chart service, and pre and post flight briefing service. Another one is QMS, quality. Yeah, this is an old friend for us. It has been an implicit requirement for us for many years. It has helped us to document and control our procedures, but from the STREAM point of view, we need even more. We need a quality management system which is able to meet the needs of the users and support flight operations. We're talking then about not only a document which shows our processes of high, but we also need to implement mechanisms to assure the provision of high quality aeronautical data and information through the use of automatic tools for processing, for verification, for usage and exchange, and additionally that all these steps are in a data chain and are done in time and by an authorized source. Data-centric. We also have the data-centric block, although this is not only the use of new technologies or systems for data storage and exchange, but it is more a change of mentality of our units and our staffs. Yes, we need to take care of the data first. Remember that data nowadays, it's actually the new oil, it's the new gold. And why data it's that important? Because data allows us to create new products, digital products. So we are so used to our conventional products like our AIP in paper and NOTAM, but in this context, we need user-defined products derived from AIXM, for example. So we're going to let the user decide what he wants to create and in order to be integrated with some other information domains like meteorological or flight and flow, etc. What else? It's part of the solid AIM in this stream context, web distribution. We need to make use of secure web services and start decommissioning the current distribution mechanisms like in paper or AFTN messages. Another concept interesting in this is the B2B service, business to business services. And this refers to digital businesses where data exchange that allows integration of aeronautical information, for instance, into ATM systems like radars and so on. So also very important, and we put it here as the base of everything, is the training of our staff. We need to train all our involved staff. And this not only applies to the use of the new software or programs, but also to the new concepts which are behind and the new concepts which are for the future. We need also to make our staff accountable, meaning that they need to be responsible for their actions, for their success and for their failures. And I know, for instance, many places or many organizations where some projects have not been implemented, a lot of resources have been wasted, and still there's nobody accountable for this failure, resulting in simply forgetting about the systems or the investment made, and with the consequence of losing a lot of money. And last but not least, and as an important piece for a solid AIM, it is good to have some support by somebody else. You may also consider to count with a partner who can support you in all the different stages or blocks. This partner may be external or may be internal, but what's important here is that this is a great way on how to enforce accountability in your staff and all your team, since there will be a third party with oversight activities supervising the implementation. So we can see all the blocks inside the base and the columns as the procedures and technology. And we like to call the columns and the base the human factor. And this is actually very important for us because if we think about it, many times this is the least considered factor in a project. It seems that the goal is to buy the new system, buy the better system without even considering that this system will be managed and maintained by person, by people, by human. And that's why the human factor for us is the most important part. By considering the staff training, the accountability, and the partnership, you're actually implementing the safer and more cost-effective strategy for not jeopardizing your service provision. With a partner, and especially with an experienced one, you will assure the best transfer of knowledge and experience, increasing your competences, skills, and abilities, and bringing with this a growth in your organization and a successful project implementation. So let's see this important question that we wanted to answer since the very beginning. How to build a solid AIM without jeopardizing your service provision? So this depends a lot on your organization, on your resources, and staff expertise and knowledge. But the best and recommended approach is to implement a project management activities for the whole process. In this project process, it's very important to identify again what is related to the human factor and what is related to the procedures and technology. The first step will be to set up a project, of course. Then you need to prepare a team, and this team needs to have clear all the concepts of the future AIM and stream and all the new system required features in order to foresee a successful adaptation to your organization. We also have the development and acquisition. We're talking about development of procedures and acquisition of technology. and also very important to evaluate that these procedures and these new technology that we are buying, it's convenient for you. Remember that you need to prepare a team which is competent and accountable of the different testing and validation phases. It doesn't matter if you might be investing in new tools, but this is worthless if your team does not know what to evaluate. Yeah. Then we can come back to the rest of our staff and we can provide them training and on-the-job training, preparing them for something which sometimes it's forgotten, and that is parallel operations. What is these parallel operations? If you are investing in a new system, your business, your current business also needs to continue. Yeah. So you need to have a team prepared for running the business, and also another one for preparing the new tools. And this is very important because this is a big challenge for many organizations. And these parallel operations is also one of those aspects where you can also account with the support of a partner. And finally, we may go to full operations once everybody is trained and all the different, let's say, all the different pieces are together and the project is about to finish. All right, so let's summarize so far what we have seen up to now. And we see that EAD has been the pioneer in the evolution from AIS to AIM to SWIM. We consider EAD one of the pioneers in this context. The building blocks for AIM requires both procedures and technology, and also the human development. And also powering up the human factor, it's, in our opinion, the best strategy for not jeopardizing your service provision during the transition from AIS to AIM. Okay, now I would like to know from you, and here we come with the poll number 3. You will see in a minute. Give me 1 second. I'm preparing the poll number 3. There we go. We have again 1.5 minutes for answering these questions. And the questions are, how would you balance the technology and the human factor in a solid AIM? Which area you believe need more focus getting AIM ready for SWIM in your area? This allows also multiple answers. And also if you believe that partnering up may be a good solution for not jeopardizing the service provision. Thanks a lot. I see very good participation so far. We still have 1 minute to answer. So, Oscar, it seems that we have been active in the chat as well.
Yes, we were commenting a little bit, some good ideas also.
Okay.
For future webinars. So, yes, much appreciated the inputs coming there.
That's cool. That's cool. So we'll try to wrap up at the end, and let's see if we also have some more questions from the audience. All right, 20 more seconds to go. I still see some answers coming up. All right, a couple of seconds, we will see the results. There we go. Now let's see the results. You might have the results there in your screen. Would you comment something, Oscar?
Yep. This is what I was going to do. The first question, most of the people think that the importance is 50-50, very balanced. Both technology and human factor are important components. In the second, we have 53 and 53. They think that training and technology solutions for implementation are also very important, or I mean, the most important in this case. And in the last one, if they believe that partnership or making partnerships may be a good solution for not jeopardizing the service provision, they say that yes, they think so.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We are going fast to the next part of the presentation.
All right, let's go very quick to the next part, which is actually we would like to introduce you to GroupEAD, the company that Oscar and me work for. We consider GroupEAD the first AIM service provider, and we will tell you why in this presentation. It's been a successful story for EAD and AIM because GroupEAD has been in charge of the operational part of the EAD together with Eurocontrol for more than 17 years of service provision. And our work has not been limited only to the service provision with Eurocontrol, but we have been also very active supporting the community in all different operational forums and study groups. And in the context of the EAD, we are daily supporting more than 40 different data providers continuously. These data providers of the EAD, of the European AIS database, are mainly located in Europe. So let's see some highlights of our company. Our company, it's a Spanish company which was born in 2001. We have 2 units, 2 premises. One it's in Madrid in Spain, another one is in Frankfurt in Germany. We had a revenues of 7.4 million last year. And our staff members are, we have more than 55 staff members coming from different areas of expertise like commercial pilots, air traffic controllers, engineers, people who have worked in AIS, AIM, etc. And all these staff is actually coming from 22 different countries. Yeah, our staff, we consider our staff the best asset that we have. That is why they are highly qualified AIM experts, and they continuously maintain their operational knowledge, skills, and abilities. Some certifications and memberships. We are ISO certified. We are the EAD service provider. We also hold a single European Sky certificate. We're also members of CANSO, of the Airport Council International, and IFAIMA corporate member as well. Let's see some of the services that we are providing to the community. The first one is ADQ Services. This is a regulation that applies in Europe. And what we do here is that we can perform a gap analysis against this regulation, and we can also provide a compliance roadmap. With the ADQ Services of GroupEAD, we assure to our customers to fully compliant with the regulation. We can also we also have an AIM training academy. With our exclusive AIM Academy, we have provided training to 100 countries and 123 organizations. We have trained more than 8,000 different participants all over the world, and our trainings may be provided in 7 different languages, including English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Russian, Greek, and German, many of those provided by Oscar. We have 2 different branches of training, the courses related to EAD and also the courses related to AIM. And we have client satisfaction very high. And with our training academy, we can provide to our customers to have their staff ready for implementation and operations. Let's see some testimonials from a recent training on evolution from AIS to AIM training course that we had recently. So you see that people believe that this is beneficial and simplified, and it helps them in understanding the process of the transition. Some other testimonials, this time is for AIXM 5.1 basic training. They believe that this was eye-opening, and also they are looking forward to continue with the advanced training. Okay, so let's see also another type of service that we have, and that is AIM consultancy. We understand all this transition from AIS to AIM. We have been very active players in this, and we are also able to provide a gap analysis report in order to comply with all the different objectives, and also to create a roadmap. Yeah. So with GroupEAD, AIS to AIM consultancy and services, our customers get all their transition objectives fully achieved. And last but not least, we also have AIM operation service. if what your organization requires, for instance, if is the digitalization of your paper products into the database, or your old AIP, you bought a new system and you need to put it in your database and you don't have staff resources, then we are highly qualified, and we have done these a lot of times for many of our partners. And we also provide an immersive approach, meaning that we have a deep knowledge of the aeronautical data business, and we also speak the same operational language. But we also offer work and train, meaning that you may keep running your business while we take care of the heavy and once-only activities of digitalization. In other words, we pave the way, and then we also prepare you for the way. With our immigration services, we assure our customers an efficient and timely migration. Some of our partners are Eurocontrol, NAV Canada, Hong Kong, DFS in Germany, and Israel, CIA in Israel. We also offer service desk support. These we provide incident and operational support for the first and second level. We are available 24/7. With a service desk, we assure to our customers operational support at any time. And we're almost about to finish. We would like you to trust in our company as the perfect partner for supporting your organization in building up a solid AIM foundation and being prepared for swim. So build a solid AIM foundation with GroupEAD. Yeah, and I didn't want to go with the final poll, which that you will see in a second. There we go. So which of these following subjects you would like to know more in a webinar format? We have some options. We also have 1.5 minutes. We can offer system and equipment acquisition process, quality assurance standards, successful data migration from paper to digital, AIM staff training and selection as well. This time there is only one question here. We still have some time, but I see very good progress.
And you can select them all if you want.
Thank you, Oscar. Yeah, this is multiple answers. Yeah.
We have also some suggestions coming from the chat while you were presenting.
Okay.
Of course, we are open to any suggestions for discussions in future webinars. If people want to let us know.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, we will take into consideration all the suggestions. We have realized that this is a fantastic way on how to interact with the community, and especially these days with all the situation or all the crisis going on, we believe that this can be a good way on how to exchange information, how to build relationship among our colleagues all over the world. All right, so we are ready to see the answers. Here we go.
Yes. Well, it's quite more or less equal. They have a preference for successful data migration from paper products to digital data, and more or less the others training, AM staff training, quality assurance, and system and equipment acquisition process.
Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, I see that we have only a couple of minutes for questions and answers. I don't know, Oscar, if you could, if you found any answer in the chat that you think we can share, because we still need to provide the people the gift that we promised at the beginning. And we don't...
in the chat, there was a very nice and really interesting discussion, but it will take very long. So this is not something for this moment. As well, the questions and answers can be sent to us to our email address, which you can see now on the screen, and we will be happy also to answer as soon as we can.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea in order to keep the time. Yeah. All right. So
There is a request, but coming from Natasha. She says if we can show the timeline sheet again in the presentation. The timeline sheet again. I think she refers to the ASBU.
Well,
that one.
Yeah, anyhow, we're going to have the video available in YouTube maybe tomorrow. And yeah, because it's already 1 minute left before the hour that we promised. And sorry, Natasha, sorry, forgive us. Send us any question that you have and come back to the video at any time, and then you can send us. I see no problem.
It's fine.
Thanks for understanding, Natasha. Yes. So before we go, Oscar.
Yes, just a very short presentation of this special gift we want to share with you. As we promised also from the beginning. So this special gift is a free session consultancy. Initially, we have defined some of the subjects that we can tackle with you. It will be available for 6 weeks. We can offer pre-gap analysis and discussions, how to prepare that. For that, we can have a video call, a video conference of 2 hours meeting, like we are doing now, for example. And expert support in the transition to AIM, in quality procedures or quality implementation, data migration, or system requirement analysis. So just feel free to contact us again in this email that we have available. And we will be there for you, not only for that, we are always there for you. And just to finish, because I don't want to run out of time, and in Europe, at least in this Western part, it's a little bit later than in other regions. But I wanted to thank you all for being there. Say a little bit more as Santesana. Muito obrigado, nossos irmãos. Because I see the faces right here in front of us, in front of me. This is where I can say I don't see many others. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you join us for future webinar sessions if they are of your interest. But your suggestions are more than welcome. Henry.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for attending to this webinar. As mentioned before, this is an initiative, something that we want to continue doing. We appreciate your support because this actually validates this idea, and we'll like to see you in the next webinar soon.